Hey there, guys. We've got the first review of the first Orient chapter, Chapter 1, by Shinobu Otaka, the creator of Magi. We've been waiting a long time to finally see this come up. Magi is my favorite series. I know Joey here also likes it, and we just want to talk about the first chapter, some first impressions, and what we ultimately think where it's going. So, what do you think, Joey?
I do like Magi. I will say that. I haven't obviously finished it all, but I have seen a fair bit of it at the beginning, and I like this beginning a lot more. I don't know. I think Magi is a lot more humorous, but I like where this is going, and I want to see more. Obviously.
I feel like it was a really relatable first chapter. Musashi's a sweet first character. He has like a lot of shonen elements, and yet he has like the humility of even a character like Alibaba, to relate him to Magi, but just that like the reader can relate with.
Yeah, he's a lot different from a lot of other lead roles. So.
Yeah, it works for me. So in the story, he's he's always wanted to be a samurai with his friend Kojiro, but in the current time, it skips 5 years forward to present day, and he's mining for ore, which is something work that you do for the demons that people worship. Which you've grown to find out that demons are worshipped now instead of samurai, how it used to be, which is they seem to be completely delusional. But luckily, the reader knows like something's not right here, and Musashi does too, and yet he still falls into the society's kind of normalization of working for demons, and he catches himself every now and then saying, "Oh, like I'm gonna be a great miner rather than I'm gonna be a great samurai." So it was kind of cool to see a character that slips up here and there.
And so go back to the start. I like how it's painted. It shows how everything is very nice in the first few chapters before the time skip, and then how everything just kind of it does a full 180, and it's kind of not so good. And
Hmm.
then you get to definitely see that because you see him and Kojiro at the beginning, like worshiping, like the fact that there's family that's samurai, and there's a lot of like I mean, I know they're kids, but they're like glorifying being a samurai, how awesome it is, and all this other
Right.
stuff. And it seems like it's an actual cool thing. And it seems like that the samurai are super strong, that these demons aren't going to have like any impact on the world because the samurai are going to deal with it, and they're going to grow up and become samurai. And then you see like 5 years later, and he's working for the demons, and you see the school, and they're like propaganda posters, like samurai
Yeah,
are bad, and everybody's like, yeah, those damn samurai, they're the worst. And he's like, yeah, they're pretty bad, I guess.
it's really cool to see because I mean I didn't think about this until now, but and slight spoilers, but the world has a point in Magi where the world's kind of delusional, and that's towards the end. And now like you're starting off the story with a delusional world, kind of cool. And the main character's one of the few people that actually knows, and the few to skip just a little bit later in the chapter, some other people find out that the demons are pretty evil too. But anyways, let's not skip ahead too far. So after like he sees the propaganda posters, he goes to see his friend Kojiro. After it's been 5 years, not since they've seen each other, but in the time skip, and they aren't like as close as they used to be. It seems like. Mm,
I
what do you
I
think?
mean, he's kind of joking around with them. He's like, you want to go get food? He's like, you just have leftovers and stuff like that. So like, they
Yeah,
obviously do see each other fairly often and stuff, but it's definitely not like, oh yeah, let's go hang out, let's go do something fun, let's go do something cool. It's like, okay, you're here, I guess.
they have like this slightly like weird conversation where Kojiro kind of accuses Musashi of not having his dream anymore. He's like, "Well, I've heard you, man. Like people call you like the Prodigy miner. Like I've heard yourself that that's your dream." And that's like a really impactful moment of the story where Musashi's like, "Yeah, like I guess I've been saying that this whole time, and I have like." Even though, like in his head, his dream has always been to be a samurai, it's not what he's actually doing. And that's really applicable to life. Like, you can talk all you want or dream all you want, but at some point you do have to act for those dreams to be real.
It's a good message, and
Yeah,
to start off this song is pretty solid. And like, not to mention that he doesn't feel like he'll be accepted if he says anything, because he won't be, because everybody is like propaganded against,
exactly.
samurai. So like, if he comes out as a samurai, they're gonna be like, oh, okay, go
He's gonna
go
be
hang out
alone.
with Kojiro and be alone. No one
Yeah.
likes Kojiro. And there's a point in there where he, like, towards the end, he was about to fight, and he starts thinking to himself, and he's like, always think that's okay, because I don't want to be hated. I don't want to be isolated.
Hmm.
And it's just like a societal peer pressure. Like, you need to feel accepted. You need to be a part of something. If you're not, you're a loner and you're a loser and all this other stuff. So like,
Hmm.
I feel like that's Kojiro as a whole. Like, that's his character.
Yeah.
But
Well, you can tell
Musashi
he has,
doesn't want to be like that.
yeah, exactly. And you can tell that Kojiro has like a lot of like samurai background. I mean, his dad seemed to be one. He's probably gonna have like some of the biggest struggles with trying to hold his own like purpose and identity, you know?
Uh,
Which, like, it's clear that, he's a samurai and he'll stay one, but he's definitely got a lot on the line. Like, Musashi was able to adapt to society, Kojiro wasn't, but at this point, they're not going to try to adapt anymore anyways.
I mean, there's a lot to be seen still. We don't know exactly what Kojiro does, because he seems
Exactly.
to be living, and
Yeah, it
uh,
gets by somehow.
so I'm very interested to see what his life actually is. But I
Yeah, you can
mean,
tell there's like a lot of world to build, and this first chapter really was about the characters, and it came across well.
um, another like thing is, when he's going to the mine to go mine, everybody's like cheering him on. They're like, "Oh
Hmm.
yeah, go! You're the best miner." Oh, he's like, "I am the best miner,"
Yeah,
and it's I don't know. I feel like not like a brainwashing effect, but like
it kind of, yeah,
he
like,
takes pride. He feels good because people are accepting him and giving him this praise, and he takes the
exactly.
praise and it makes him feel good. But like, he doesn't feel good because it's not what he wants to do.
Yeah, he feels good for the moment, but then he's like, wait, this isn't what I really want. And it's hard to for him to like stand up and say what he really means. But then when he's not alone, when he has Kojiro, especially the fact that Kojiro ends up bringing his weapon for him, it's a lot easier for him to say how he really feels. And that moment where they end up going into the demon's like mining cave, uh, and he's getting all beat up by the demon. And he right at like the brink of death. He's like, "You idiots! Like I'm a samurai now." It's it's the moment that's so classic shonen, and it was so good. It's just so nice to see like a character just shout their dream straight to the enemy's face.
Mm.
And I feel like at least the last thing we should really touch on is something that's definitely a huge element of the story that was not really explained at all, which is something I'm looking forward to for the next chapters. So there's something about these ores that they were mining. There's something about these like gems or crystals, and they even mentioned that Musashi happened to like mine one up. Something about these crystals are important and provide some kind of power. What do you think, Joey?
Uh, I mean, the demons seem to eat them, so
Mhm.
it either is their food, but it's hard to tell because one of the demons was eating a person.
Yeah,
So it either has to do with something giving them strength or something, or it's like their sustenance and they need it to survive. Because I can't see you having a giant slave labor camp mining this stuff if you don't need it for a specific purpose.
yeah.
You just don't enslave people for no reason. So,
Yeah, it could be going towards like their demon like bosses, like the one that comes at the end
mm,
too. Could be something like that. Hard to say so far, but let's just acknowledge the fact that one, the sheath for Musashi's scythe sword is the ground. Definitely something that has to do something with the crystals for sure. It gives them some sort of strength. And then, secondly, Kojiro's motorcycle, which I was not expecting at all to show up. I thought there was going to be no technology whatsoever. And you can see clearly that it's powered by crystals. There's crystals growing out of it.
And it's like
Uh,
covered in like, is it
yeah,
crystals or like metal sheets? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And it looks super sick too.
I can
I just
definitely
have,
see that being some kind of like weapon to use against like a demon too.
yeah, exactly. It could be exactly the power what they want and the power that's going to beat them. You know, I'm really excited to see what the whole story behind these, one, what the story behind the crystals is, and two, what the hell happened in these 5 years that samurais became demonized. Because I'm sure something happened,
Well, I'm
that,
assuming it's the samurai were the ones standing up to the demons, and obviously they lost, and then the demons obviously want to make people not stand up and stick up for themselves. So,
yeah,
probably a brainwashing type of deal. But
yeah. All I know is that if there's anything about Shinobu Otaka's writing, something in the middle there is going to take us off guard, and who knows what the whole demon story is. I just can't wait to find out. What would you give this chapter out of 10?
I mean, I give it a 10 for now.
I'd give it a 10, yeah.
Because it starts off super strong. And another thing, like I've noticed about her art, I mean, I haven't seen it in a while, um, but the fact that some sections are just insanely well drawn, and then some of them there's just like no background to it. But like
Hmm.
she paints the scenery so well when she does include a background when people are talking that it's nice. And when it's just a blank canvas behind them, I can focus on the dialogue more. I'm not looking around trying to get a full picture of everything.
Right.
I can be more involved with her storytelling and the dialogue between characters, and it actually sticks more in my head than if I watch something like One Piece. One Piece has a million things going on in the background all the time.
Yeah.
So like it's a nice transition, and I can definitely get a lot more out of it, and actually sit there and think about more things while things are going on. So it's really a nice change. It's very good. It's not even like there's a lack, so it's bad or anything.
Right.
It's super good.
It's definitely like speaks to the simplicity and the charm of her art style. That's one thing I always describe her art as, like, charming. You just really like to look at her main characters are just so likable, and so is like her backgrounds, and for a chapter that was clearly about the main two characters, she definitely gave the art on the main two characters where it needed to be, and it came through for me. I give this one a 10 as well, and I just can't wait for the next chapter.
All right, sounds good.
All right, well, thank you all for watching, for listening, and you should definitely read this chapter if you haven't. Next week when a chapter comes out, assuming this is a weekly series, we will definitely be reviewing it. I'm going to be following this closely because I know it's going to be good. Thank you
Uh,
for watching, and we'll see you around.
See ya.